Where do I begin? First of all, being an agent's a tough job. It really is. Because you're dealing with like 50 hammerheads, man. And we are hammerheads. And we're all interested in who? Us. Which is the way it should be. And she's trying to make a living, and she does have a family, etc. And if you were going to bug her through a text on a Saturday night, etc., although you had legitimate cause to do so, there's a way to do it and a way not to do it. She did not handle it well, as well. She's probably, put yourself in her moccasins. She's probably frustrated, and she had a bad week or whatever, and her time is her time, and she does have a life, and the last thing she wants is 50 fucking actors bugging her about, did you submit me for this, okay? So, having said that, there's always a better way to handle human interactions. I'm in the middle of something right now. It's just interesting. So what I want to talk to you about is Samuel Johnson and soft-boiled eggs. Samuel Johnson was either a 15th century philosopher, comedian, if there is such a thing, and political type philosopher, comedian. And you've all heard, maybe you haven't heard, but Samuel Johnson had a guy, I think it was Thomas Boswell, don't quote me on the first name, but Boswell was his biographer. So everybody wants to have their Boswell that tells their story, and he chronicled everything that Samuel Johnson did. And Samuel Johnson once said that in a political humorist thing that he published, that most men would rather go to the gallows, okay, than crack their soft-boiled eggs on the fat part of the shell rather than the skinny part. And what's funny about that, it's not funny, but it's basically talking about people hate change, and people are dogged in their belief systems, and it's never been more true than it is now. Just look down south and you will see the craziest shit that's going on in the world. But these people believe what they believe, and rather than change their mind, again, as Samuel Johnson said, they'd rather go to the gallows. And some of you have heard me use the example of Les Miserables, where Jean Valjean was put in prison for stealing a loaf of bread for his sister's children. And the system did not discriminate between, types of theft or whatever, or murders or whatever. If you stole a loaf of bread, you're as bad as a serial killer. And he went to prison. And the epic story of the man who pursued him was that's how he saw the world, in black and in white, and there was no gray. If you stole, you were a criminal, period. That's it. And when he was forced to confront that his belief system was wrong, he threw himself off a bridge and killed himself because he couldn't handle it. Why am I telling you this? We are human beings, and we believe things. We have come to conclusions about a lot of different things. And I'm going to challenge your belief system again. I brought this up several times in class, and we'll bring it up again. But when people believe a certain way, the hardest thing in the world is to change a mind. And you can't do it without the cooperation of another person. So, to your specific situation, here's what I would do in your position. I would get the coolest box of candy or a nice basket of like fruit and stuff or flowers, and personally go in and say, hey, I'm sorry. That's what I would do. And you just say, I didn't think about, that I was interrupting your personal time, and I want you to know that I have absolute confidence in you. I got a little crazy, but I hope you understand. I'm just concerned. I've moved to a new city, and I'm just asking for your forgiveness. And I promise you I'll be more professional. That's what I would do. That's me. And you're going to run into this constantly. This is a weird, tough business, right? So to the extent that people believe a certain thing, you have to take a step back and be smarter than that and say, okay, their consciousness is there. How do I get them to do what I want them to do? And then the other thing is you have to be aware of your own roadblocks. My teacher told me, and this is the part where you get to do your work, go home tonight and take out 4 sheets of paper. And on the top of each sheet of paper, write what I believe to be true. Not what is true, what I believe to be true. And on one of them, put what I believe to be true about food, what I believe to be true about money, what I believe to be true about sex, what I believe to be true about love. 4 things: love, sex, food, and money. Take a sheet of paper. Let's say it's food. Take a pencil, write everything you can think of that you really believe to be true about food. I believe that food that I eat that tastes good is fattening. Or I believe that food that tastes good is not good for me. I believe that vegetarians are stupid. Whatever you believe, write it as fast as you can. When you get to the point where you go, you're done. If you're thinking about it now, you're done. You just write as fast. The thoughts will come. Take the next sheet. Okay? Sex. What I believe to be true about sex. There is no bad sex. No. Whatever. Wow. Tough room. Write everything you believe. And then the same with money and the same with love. On those sheets of paper, after you're done writing, you put your pencil down. 2 things will happen pretty much, I guarantee it. Number 1, you will see something there that surprises you. And number 2, you'll see something that you go, damn, I don't like that. Those are your belief systems. It's one thing to be talking intellectually in a coffee shop and saying about, oh, well, I think this or I think that. But when you're in the heat of the battle, when that asshole in front of you cuts you off, when the person that you've been dating for 6 months texts you and says it's over, that's when things get real. And that's when the real belief systems come out. And there were things on the page, particularly in my case in money, I realized I had a consciousness of lack. I believed that there wasn't enough. And I was walking across the Broad Street. Have y'all walked across the Broad Street Bridge? This is the first time for me. Because it's right outside my window every day and night. I see it and I thought, yeah, I'm going to walk across. I've driven across it many times. But I walked across that bridge and, it's, to me, if you're not aware of your own thought processes, then you are the victim of them. And for me, that consciousness of lack was something that was holding me back. I looked out over that bridge and I saw boat after boat after boat and building after building after building and going up. There is so fucking much money in the world. It's unfathomable how much there is. And my consciousness was there's not enough to go around. And it inhibited me for many, many years. And it's something I've worked on and I'm doing pretty good at it. But it was my fall to position. And it's something I had to work on. There were others. But I guarantee you, if you do what I ask you, you will see some things that need changed in your life. And when you start thinking about this, about your consciousness, then your awareness in certain situations about how you're acting and how you're thinking, and then how others are acting and thinking starts to change. And when you understand that that human being in front of you has these same problems, they're set in their ways, they have certain ways they think about things, then you have a better understanding on how to navigate in your life. So, agent-client relationships are always tough. Like I said, an agent's job is very, very tough. And an actor's job, well, we go through. And believe me, the good agents know this. They do know this. And I'm sure she feels bad about it too. And you can make you can make amends, and you can make both of you feel better about it. But you have to, it starts here. You have to take your responsibility for your part in any situation that is uncomfortable for you. So, those of you that want to try this tonight, I would be really interested to hear what your results were, and if you found anything that surprised you, shocked you, or you didn't like, or if you want to share next week, we can talk about that.
What were the categories? Money, food, sex, and love?
Those were the 4, yeah. And those are your basic beliefs. Everything we feel and believe and operate basically revolves around those 4 things. And if you start thinking about it, you'll figure a connection. Yeah. But what I'm talking about is relating those 4 things in your own belief system. Because, here's why. Until you fix this, you can't go there. You can't start to fix the rest of mankind. It starts here. Gandhi used to say, be the change you want to see in the world. And until you know what the problem is, you can't be the change. Okay? All right. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.